up, troops? Welcome back to the Litanah Army. I'm Lit, and this is Fortnite Save the World. Well, we're not actually covering Fortnite Save the World right now. I actually just want to point out something on Reddit, or just show you something on Reddit that I've responded to, but you know, it was really riled me a little bit, and it just riled me. So I just wanted to kind of share it with you guys to see what you guys think. You know, I'm not saying I'm always right, because I'm not. You know, but I want to see what you guys think and basically get your feedback on this. So this is the original post that we saw. It was a post by Aiden Harris and other YouTubers who were going away from the game at the time. So it was a while ago, 16 days ago, about 2 weeks ago, about a fortnight ago, shall we say. But a good job, Epic, Aiden, Litanah, and even David Dean quits. Very nice. What are the devs doing? Now, I think it got downvoted to hell just simply because it had Litanah and David Dean on there, and we weren't quitting the game. I was just taking a break from the game, and David Dean didn't leave the game at all. So I think that's where the downvotes from hell came from. And it's just Reddit, so that sometimes happens. But what actually got me is the actual response that came on it further down the thread, which was actually quite recent, which was this one. So this guy's actually put on there, if we look, I don't know if you can see this, you probably can. I seriously wouldn't worry about this, guys. He's, like most streamers, bothered about growing. So this is now referring to Aiden Harris. David Dean is someone that also lost a lot of credibility as far as I'm concerned. The issue is that these guys have a little too much self-importance. I only view Fortnite Save the World content, and to be perfectly honest, they are far better than both. Now, yeah, okay, that's very subjective, you know, and it kind of, that's what Reddit's all about, you know, just speaking your opinion and giving your side of things. But to actually actively go on there and respond to someone and just spread that kind of hatred around, I just think that's a little bit, you know, a little bit low. And I just think what we've got to look at here, there's actually a bigger point to this, there's a bigger picture to all of this. And if you look at it, Aiden Harris actually leaving Fortnite Save the World, or posting less, should I say, Fortnite Save the World, is a big deal. You know, that's quite a massive deal. Same with Checker, he was really successful on Fortnite Save the World. And the main reason is because, you know, the game grew. We came at the time when the curve started, and it was a massive curve back in about June, July last year. And anyone who jumped on the train about that time is definitely going to get lifted, because the interest at that time was massive, more than it's been ever since. You know, we've not had that level of interest since. Now, when the game goes free, that's going to be another time where it's going to be like that. You know, there's going to be a lot of hype around the game, a lot of new YouTubers who we've not seen now, Twitch streamers coming into the game, and you know, things are going to look really up for this game. But for now, as I said, as it is, the game at that time, so 2 weeks ago, was getting a bit stale. This is pre-update, so before the 8.0 update, it was getting a little bit stale, a little bit stagnant, and a lot of creators were there just wasn't enough to cover. You know, I said it in my old video, there just wasn't enough for us to be putting out the level of content that we wanted to put out. So at this point, I'm still fine. I'm all right at this point. It's just a Reddit post. That's okay. This is one of the bits that got me, though. Save the World is the only reason these people existed. The other guy, too, who I removed a week before, who says troops all the time, Litanah, spelt wrong, may I add. Oh, my God. He had to go, as he was talking of growing, too, which means earning more money by bringing in bigger fish. Okay, all right, I want to reply directly to this. So you've got your own video now because of this, and I'll tell you what I think of that. If I wanted to grow in terms of money, that would not be the way to do it. That would be a dumb move by me, because the way to grow money-wise would have been to go over to the Scammer Get Scammed channels, and that would have been it. Now, anyone who's in YouTube content creator, who's been a YouTube content creator for just a few months, the rules of YouTube usually, or the rules of content creation usually are, don't read the comments and stay away from Reddit. But I don't, you know, I'm quite active in my community. I've got a big Discord that I go on Reddit all the time. I tend to lurk a little bit. I use it more for information, just because people like this guy are pretty hostile towards content creators. And then you also get on there as well in the comments. I'm always active in the comments. You know, every single day I'll reply to 10, 15, 20, sometimes more comments that are actually in there. But do you know what? You get a lot of the other channels. So the Scammer Get Scammed meta just has a more what's the word? So a more motivated viewership, if you like. More people flock to these Scammer Get Scammed viewers. That's where the views are. That's where the money is. So it's the same with, like, if you look at Ali and Laserbeam in comparison to some of the other, you know, Fortnite YouTubers, you'll actually find they're the ones who are most successful. And why? Because that's the kind of content they create. They create, and I wouldn't even say dumbed down. I absolutely love Laserbeam. His content is hilarious. But then I'm not a massive fan of Ali, but that doesn't mean that Ali is a bad content creator. Do you know what? Ali is an amazing content creator, because he's got a format that works really well for him. He's got a fantastic fan base, and whether they're on the decline or on the rise doesn't really matter. They've actually done it. They've actually brought in six-figure sums, maybe even more, based on their YouTube channel. So that's where the money is. So to say that I was aiming, you know, to grow and I was looking for money by playing games like, you know, Hitman 2, which is an old game, that's not a money game. Do you know, if you're a content creator, that's not where the money is. Sims 4, that's definitely not where the money is. Roller Coaster Tycoon, these are just not money games, you know. So if to accuse myself individually, you know, which you've done on there, you've targeted me specifically on there, to accuse me of going for money, that's just a little bit nuts, isn't it? So he's put on there Alora SC, Cylon, as well as others. These are types of guys we need in Save the World. David Dean promoting his family and their channels, not even willing to do Frost Knight 128, is not one of them. Seriously, do you know, the content creators don't all have to do what you want to do. For example, today, Demon Joe's commenting on the new pirate event files that are in there. I try not to, I do sometimes, but I try not to speculate too much on stuff like that. That's not what this channel's about, so I don't really look at the theories and stuff behind it. Demon Joe does, and he does a great job of it. You know, his channel is fantastic, and he kind of looks at that. But to kind of have a little hack there at David Dean as well, just because he's promoting his family's channels, I say power to him. Do you know, David Dean should promote his family's channels, because that's kind of, any dad would want to do that, or any uncle would want to do that. That's kind of what you want to do. If I had a family member, you know, who had a channel, then I would promote that. My first, like, you know, when I first started in my first year of YouTube, my kids had channels as well. Now, they've not carried on with them. They're going to do something else later on. We're having talks about that and stuff like that, and what we can do, because you got to think about internet safety and stuff like that. But, you know, when we're looking at stuff like that, I promoted what they had already. You know, I promoted their channels, and why, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong. If you look at Tory X, and I know I've mentioned him already, Demon Joe France, I was around their channels when they were, you know, under 2,000, 3,000 subscribers. I was already, you know, chatting to those guys and doing what I could. You know, I've got a video, one where I'm saying something like, help Demon Joe, you know, get to 5,000, help Tory X, you know, he's a great YouTuber, go and check him out. These guys were not big at the time like they are now. You know, these were small YouTubers. But what you got to understand is, if this game is going to grow, you need people like Aiden Harris, like Checker, like Tory, you know, like David Dean, like, I can't even name them all, A1. There's too many to name, but there's some great ones. But there's totally different ends of the spectrum. If you want something that's more, you know, maths based, if you like, or more stat focused, then you look at, like, say, Sly Gumbe, then you look at, say, David Dean, people like that, and that's what they do. Alora SC, I was watching him on a Twitch stream last night. I was lurking in his stream. He did a really great trap build in there last night. But then if you go over to the other side of things, where you want to, you know, you want the game to be a bit silly, and you focus more on the, you know, just the fun element of the game and the silly side of the game, or trying to break the game all the time, then that's where, say, you know, myself, Tory, and maybe even A1 to a degree, that's kind of where we sit. But there's not one type of creation that you've got to do, you know, in order to be a credible channel. All these channels are credible, and I don't want it to put anybody off who's thinking about creating YouTube channels themselves, or thinking about doing a Twitch stream themselves. I would say go and do it. Don't listen to people like this. You know, you actually need to get out there and do it. And I think that sometimes the Save the World community on our side of the fence, which is not the scammer side of the fence, you know, is kind of gets, you know, it kind of hurts itself sometimes. And someone put a post on Reddit yesterday. I've not actually got it up to link for you guys, but I will link it in the description down below, saying that we need to ease off Epic a little bit, because they look at our thread, you know, the Fortnite Save the World thread, and it is, you know, and he's right, you know, I look down it, it's 80% just complaints about the game, just about this is broken, this is wrong, this is bad. And yeah, do you know, they're all valid. They're all valid complaints, especially you Xbox guys. You know, I do feel for you guys. You guys that saw my video yesterday, I had similar problems on the PC where the gun wasn't showing in his hand, and we couldn't build and we couldn't do anything. But that doesn't mean, you know, that doesn't mean that we have to bash on these YouTubers. Lift them up. If you want to put some constructive criticism in there, do it. Do you know, let's do it that way. But let's look at the next bit. Let's also be real. Avoid David Dean. He will seriously bomb if he takes on any other game. Ninja loses a huge amount of viewers whenever he changes the game. In fact, viewers are as fickle as content creators, and rightly so. Let's get real about this sad loss. Well, it is a sad loss, you know, and yeah, viewers can be as fickle as what content creators are, but that's kind of the relationship that we all have. That's the great thing. Anyway, I followed Jacksepticeye, for example, for years, PewDiePie, and all them big ones, and I've got some other great YouTubers. I love Boogie2988, and I watch all those, and they change the content up all the time. They do things that maybe I don't always like. When Jacksepticeye was doing the tour stuff, I wasn't a massive fan of that, because I subscribe to Jacksepticeye for his crazy stuff, for the dumb stuff that he does. Same as what I do for Laserbeam, for example. example, even though I don't really play Battle Royale, I find myself laughing at the content that he does. But that doesn't mean that, one set of content creators is doing it right and wrong. There's going to be just as many people who love Jacksepticeye's, tour vids. That might be the best part for them. Or there might be people who, with Ali A, for example, there might be people that love it when he shows his home or when he shows about, stuff in his life. Everybody's different. And the reason that I don't think it's a case of either side being fickle, I just think that that's the relationship that we've got. And you know what? We should be supporting creators and we should be lifting them up. And I don't just mean myself, I mean like the Twitch creators. I mean, anyone who's creating any sort of content that gives coverage to this game, even the press and things like that. We need to actually support that side of the game and support people who are covering that side of the game, because do you know what? Without them people and Aiden Harris and Checker, and yeah, it is a big loss. It's the same if A1 was to go, it would be a huge loss, because it's one of those things where if you haven't got the coverage on the game and you haven't got the people watching your game, the game's not going anywhere. Do you know, the game will fade out eventually, and that's what'll happen. And it doesn't matter how big your game is. You tell that to Blizzard about World of Warcraft that in 2019 not many people would be playing, and that's nuts. I mean, it's still got a great fan base and it's still a great game. I don't really play it anymore, but that was my go-to game back in the day. But it was unfathomable to think that game would ever go anywhere. But the coverage, eventually just started to fade away. And you know what? It's still a good game, but it's nowhere near the levels that it used to be. And that could happen to Fortnite Save the World if we don't all band together. So guys, that's it. I just wanted to put that out there today. I don't normally do this type of video, but I just kind of wanted to touch on that guy and just basically tell him, that we need to band together. We're stronger as one, rather than being this fragmented bunch of trolls like that instead. And I think for the most part, the community is really solid in here. So I just don't want to condemn that kind of behavior, if you like. So massive thanks for watching, guys. If you're not part of the Litanah army already, hit that subscribe button. If you want to, of course. If this content's not for you, then don't. It's your choice. And if you're one of the troops, make sure you hit me that like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, guys.